What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today when I talk to you on Lucid, I want to go over the 4-4 that just came out today, what it means, as well give you a good overview of everything that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid did pull back 1.77% today, a little low for volume. So 30.3 million shares being traded, 36 is the average. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So in comparison to the last several days, very quiet. And of course, looking at what happened today, you can kind of just tell that there was a lot of algorithmic trading. So a lot of this barcoding right here is just computers trading in among itself. So not necessarily the best. A lot of these abnormal transactions right here was surprisingly shorts. So I'm going to go over all that. But today there was some pretty good data that did come out. ADP non-farm employment came in at 164,000 versus a forecast of 115. So this is giving the broader market a lot of optimism that there could be a soft landing. So this is where the market is kind of being pulled in different directions because a lot of stocks, a lot of the larger mega cap stocks are still considered overbought. So they do need to pull back, and that's what's been kind of the driving factor over the last several days why the broader market has been going down. Lucid's just been getting tossed around mostly downwards as a result of that. But this data right here is very optimistic. As well, there was this video, well, lots of videos in general, but a lot of analysts are turning somewhat bearish. So I wanted to play this video and kind of puts in perspective on analysts' current mentality of the broader market. But today there was no news from Lucid itself. There was a 4-4 that did come out. That was yesterday after hours. And I wanted to talk on this because there's a lot of FUD and misinformation being spread about this. Because you can kind of see Peter Rawlinson, who is the CEO and the CTO, does show on the 29th of December him basically buying 180,000 shares at a price of 83 cents. So ultimately, based on this, or the equity incentive plan, it does give a lot of individuals some options. And within those options, they are able to purchase it for a predetermined price. But keep in mind, he is actually buying it using his own money. So I'm kind of conflicted. So a lot of misinformation, a lot of people are just saying that he's being granted this. That is wrong. He did actually buy it with his own money. Definitely not a lot, dollar value wise, considering how much he actually does make behind the scenes. But I guess baby steps. So this is a move in the right direction, kind of shows that Peter might see this as a little bit of a bottom. But then again, I would absolutely love this transaction code to be P, meaning purchase using his own money, not associated to any options or whatever else. But then again, if you kind of look right here through the stock options part of this agreement, it is up until 2029, and he has about 7.7 million still with this. So he kind of just did a drop in the bucket as far as exercising that. So this is just similar to, if you want to call it as a call option, it just gives him the right to purchase. He doesn't necessarily have to, but meaning he does use his own money. So once again, just hopefully breaking that down. Again, you can kind of look at previous SEC documents that goes over payment for shares for the options and the terms and conditions and everything. So I did read through this, and yes, he did use his own physical cash, unless he's writing like an IOU or something like that, which I don't anticipate. But still, once again, moving on from that though, shorts. Shorts did something very surprising. So this morning they did double down. So they increased almost about 6 million shares. So they are what caused this right here. And then after that, they essentially took a step back and started to return a ton of shares. I don't know why, but that's basically what happened today. So shorts at the end of the day did end up returning 1.34 million shares, 24.02% of the free float being shorted, 212.63 million shares overall are being shorted, and cost of our average is a little bit lower in comparison to yesterday, so 4.67%. Through Interactive Broker, short availability does indicate around 9.5 million shares available to be shorted. And like I said, with it being at these levels, clearly a lot of bigger players have been buying over the last little bit, and are lending them out. So not necessarily the best information when it comes to that. No new analyst ratings. So the last one's still done about 29 days ago, and that was with Bank of America. I think a lot of analysts are just waiting for Lucid to put out their Q4 numbers, both production and delivery numbers, and then they'll be able to give price targets based on that. And then of course a new round will come after their actual earnings are released. So I think a lot of Lucid investors are just on the edge of their seat waiting. I did buy in 2 different accounts, one with Interactive Brokers, other one with Wealthsimple. So I did catch it very first thing at 390, and then I did buy in a little bit more at 394 through Interactive Brokers and instantly sold a covered call for $4 for tomorrow expiring. So obviously, you guys always do your own due diligence, and let me know your thoughts if you guys do options. I know I bring this up quite a lot, more of a sentiment rather than anything, but I don't know. Am I the only one that does a lot of options with Lucid, or I don't know? What's your thoughts? When it comes to the options for today, $553,000 in calls being purchased versus $940,000 in puts. But sentiment-wise, 46% of all the options being done today were bearish. So people are anticipating for it to trend down because Lucid did break below a very key pivotal point on the technicals today. So it's not necessarily the best. But of the call options that were purchased today, it is anticipated for it to be above $4 by the end of this Friday. So clearly a little bit of optimism for that. Aside from that though, there is no real outliers. So clearly people are anticipating for it to be either $4 or kind of just be stagnant. So not much optimism, but looking at puts, it is anticipated for it to be sub 350 by the end of, looks like January the 26th. That seems to be the big consensus for that. So a lot of people are anticipating clearly a miss on their earnings, which will result in Lucid going down. But moving on and looking at the technicals, with it closing at $3.89, surprisingly enough, it closed below this S3. So this $3.92 very strong support, it broke. So like I said, the technicals are breaking behind the scenes. So we do have to move over to the 1 day just briefly. So bigger picture, some stuff to watch for, at least the next levels, $3.78. And then below that would be $3.32. So you'll just have to watch those 2 support levels to hold out. But ultimately things just need a change with Lucid. Like, I feel like this is a good thing, but the fact that Peter's just exercising some of his options, like, this is still, in my opinion, crap. He needs to put his damn money where his mouth is. He's paid way too much for what he actually does offer. I've said this in the past. He needs to step down as from the CEO role and just deal with technology. Just put him in a corner, tell him just to figure stuff out, make it more consumer friendly as what they like to do. But I don't know. Some people are mixed on this, right? Some people really do like this, the fact that Peter's actually accumulating more shares. But then there's a lot of individuals that just see the stock performance, how many shares, or I guess of the options are still outstanding, which is 7.7 million. Like this, I don't really like this, especially like I said, just the stock performance over the last little bit has been absolutely dismal. But of course, as I've said in the past, I still do like the product. This is why I still cover Lucid, still own it. Just bigger picture, I'm sure Lucid will be fine. Short term though, like, it's not good to see the technicals break down when essentially a lot of the major indexes and the stocks are almost at 52-week highs. So this is just not good in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts on that. Number of retail investors have been getting out today, and that's been the case for the greater part of, I guess, the last 2 weeks. Stochastic though is at 6. So even though the market is cooling off because it was overbought, Lucid is just been very oversold for the last about week and a bit, ever since around, I don't know, probably the 20th, give or take. There is no defined trend as of right now. So if there's a good piece of news or surprisingly better Q4 numbers than what the market does anticipate, then Lucid could go on a very nice rally as a result, as it'll entice a lot of value investors to get in. Just as it stands, if Lucid stays silent and doesn't really do anything, it is going to naturally just continue to trend down because of the breakdown in its technicals. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Lucid? Also, take advantage of this promo as I've been sharing with you. Sign up for an account with Moonwood, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. And like I mentioned at the very beginning, I'm just going to quickly play a little bit of this video because it does show the analyst mentality behind the scenes. So let me know your thoughts.
Critical employment report. We're going to be watching that closely tomorrow, too. It takes us to our talk of the tape. Whether the enormous end-of-year rally has become the great give-back of 2024 and how much longer it might last. Let's ask Adam Parker. He's the founder and CEO of Trivariate Research and a CNBC contributor back here post-9. Happy New Year. It's good to have you back. You surprised by anything that's gone on to start this year?
Not really. I'm not surprised that, the great give back. I mean, it's 3 trading days, almost the third one's over. We still got 249 to go. But I'd say not really. I think people knew we were in a chasing Q4 rally, that things were kind of over their skis, and you're going to have a bit of rotation here in the first quarter. So I'm not surprised. And I think it makes sense to look for businesses where the estimates could be achievable that have lagged. Maybe it's healthcare, maybe it's financials. Some of the areas you say are getting a little bit of a relative bid. So I haven't seen that as really surprising.
So yeah, ultimately short and sweet, but that's the analyst mentality right now across the board. Just it was kind of an anticipated pullback, and so in Lucid's case, it just get magnified so much more. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, and with all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.